It started with a dare. A simple, stupid dare. And now I can't escape the nightmare I brought upon myself. I don't know if it's too late to make it stop, but I know one thing for sure. I'm not alone anymore. The air was damp, and the faint smell of mildew clung to the walls like an unseen presence. My best friend Claire was upstairs with her phone, recording every second of my humiliation. "You won't do it," she'd laughed. "You're all talk." She was wrong. Dead wrong. The dare was simple. Draw the symbols, light the candles, and say the words. Some internet challenge we stumbled across late at night while binging horror videos. Summon the demon of secrets, the site had said. Supposedly, the demon wouldn't harm you. It would just show you something no one else could. Sounded harmless enough, right? But I hesitated. Not because I believed in any of it. I didn't. Not really. But as the chalk scratched against the cold, cracked concrete, I couldn't ignore the sinking feeling in my stomach, like I was digging my own grave. I finished the last stroke of the symbol and sat back on my heels. My breath came out in shallow puffs, the cold biting into my skin. The words were next. I'd rehearsed them upstairs, laughing about how stupid they sounded. But now, they felt heavier, darker. "Reveal your truth," I whispered, then louder. "Reveal your truth." The candles flickered violently. I froze, my eyes darting around the room. "Claire," I called out, my voice shaky. No answer. Then the sound came. A low, guttural hum, like a deep vibration in the earth. It reverberated through my chest, rattling my ribs. My flashlight flickered and died, plunging me into near total darkness. That's when I saw it. The shadow. At first I thought it was just the candlelight playing tricks. But this shadow moved, sliding along the wall and coalescing into a shape. A figure. Taller than any human, its limbs too long, its fingers ending in sharp, jagged points. "You called." It hissed, the voice like nails scraping against glass. My throat went dry. I tried to move, but my body refused to obey. I didn't mean to. I stammered. The figure tilted its head, its glowing red eyes narrowing. "But you did." It stepped closer, the air growing colder with each movement. "What do you want to know?" it asked. My mind raced. What had the website said? Ask it a question. Ask it for a secret. I blurted out the first thing that came to mind. What's my biggest regret? The shadow's mouth, or what I assumed was its mouth, twisted into a cruel smile. "Oh," it rasped, "that's easy." Suddenly, the basement wasn't the basement anymore. I was back in my childhood home, standing in the middle of my old bedroom. Everything looked exactly as it had that day, down to the stuffed bear on my bed and the smell of cookies wafting from the kitchen. I heard my younger self laughing in the next room. And then, her voice, my mom's voice. I knew what was coming, and I begged the demon to stop. "Please," I screamed. "Not this. Anything but this." But it was too late. The door opened, and I watched as my mom walked into the room. She smiled, her face full of warmth. Then the phone rang. I wanted to close my eyes to run, but I was frozen, forced to relive it all. The argument, the slammed door, the words I could never take back. The crash. When I opened my eyes, I was back in the basement, tears streaming down my face. The demon loomed over me, its grin wider now. "You wanted the truth," it said, "and now you have it." I screamed, clawing at the ground, trying to erase the symbol, but the chalk wouldn't budge. The demon leaned closer, its breath hot against my ear. "And now," it whispered, "you're mine." The room plunged into darkness, and for a moment I thought it was over. Maybe it had left. Maybe it was just a nightmare. But then I felt it. A hand, ice cold and impossibly strong, gripped my wrist. "You don't get to leave," it growled, its voice coming from everywhere and nowhere at once. My skin burned where it touched me, as if its very essence was seeping into my veins. I screamed, thrashing against its grip, but it was like fighting against steel. Then it released me. I fell backward, gasping for air. When I looked up, the demon was gone. Or so I thought. I scrambled to my feet and bolted up the stairs, nearly tripping over my own shaking legs. "Claire," I shouted. But the house was silent. Too silent. I found her phone in the living room, still recording. The screen showed me sitting in the basement, the candles flickering, and then nothing. Just static. My voice called out from somewhere within the distortion, echoing over and over. "Reveal your truth." And then Claire's scream. My stomach turned as I scrolled through the video, hoping, praying, that she was just messing with me. But she wasn't. The video ended abruptly, cutting to black. That's when I heard it. A low chuckle, coming from the hallway. I turned slowly, every muscle in my body screaming to run. The hallway stretched out before me, impossibly long. At the far end, something moved, a shadow too dark to be natural. "Claire," I whispered, my voice barely audible. But deep down I knew it wasn't her. The figure stepped closer, its movements slow and deliberate. With every step, the air grew heavier, colder, until I could see my breath misting in front of me. "Did you think it would be that easy?" The voice rasped. It sounded different now, deeper, layered, as if 1,000 voices were speaking at once. I backed away, my heart pounding in my chest. "What do you want from me?" I shouted. Its smile widened, jagged teeth glinting in the faint light. "I told you," it said, "you're mine." Before I could react, the lights went out again, and I was swallowed by darkness. The last thing I remember was the sound of my own heartbeat, deafening in my ears, as a cold hand closed around my throat. I woke up in my bed, drenched in sweat. Morning light streamed through the curtains, and for a moment I thought it was over. A dream. Just a terrible, vivid nightmare. But then I saw it. The symbol. It was etched into my ceiling, glowing faintly, pulsing like a heartbeat. And beneath it, scrawled in jagged, burnt letters, were 4 words. "You let me in." I don't know how to stop it. I don't know if I can. All I know is I'm not alone anymore. And neither are you.